Hi, everybody. Was guided to come out in a storm here we're having in Los Angeles. I see some faces there. To talk about this painting, which is one of my most important paintings and my most meaningful paintings. This is when I first started. I composed this, and I found the wood in the neighborhood. I love working with wood, so this is somebody's trash that I picked up on the side of the road. At this time I was using the pouring technique, and I just kind of put the colors together and swirled them about. And at that time, I would paint with whatever I found on that particular day, whether it be a stick or a feather. In this time, I believe it was a stick. It's called The Infinite Heart. And I'm going to do a 3 or 4 part journey on this painting. It's very powerful. Within this painting contains the Trinity. Emanations of the Trinity. And really quickly, I'm going to just point out a few things, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but that never stopped me from doing anything before. Of course, I've had a little time to examine this painting a little more thoroughly. But before I get started, what I was taught by Creator was to take my abstract images and take a picture, then duplicate the image and attach them to themselves. Because life is a reflection. And suddenly I began seeing the faces form, the perfect formed faces. And really quickly, I'll just point out the eye of the Father right here, and the nose and the mouth. So you can imagine I duplicate this image, and you're going to have the full face, which I'll show you later. But in this painting, we have the Father, the Mother, and the Son. And it all kind of started here with the infinity symbol, which is why I call it the infinite heart. When you turn it this way, the heart is formed here. Right here is the crystal seed of consciousness. And mind you, I didn't try to do any of this. I just simply poured the paint out and intuitively made my designs. Looking closely at the right or left ventricle here, you can see 2 horses nuzzling one another. A female, there's her eye, and the nose comes down to here. And here's the male, here's his eyes, and his snout is here. So they're in one side of the heart, the male and the female thoroughbreds or horses are nuzzling one another. Over here you have Archangel Michael in a bird form. Here's his face, here's the body and the arm, here's a sword on a demon's shoulder. And that is a very real occurrence in my world on a regular basis, because I'm an emanation of this being. The infinite heart. And as I'm speaking here, I'm looking at it a little differently. I see a couple eyes here and the mouth of a bird, and certainly hawks and eagles and owls have been coming my way as of late. And then you back away from from the initial surge here, and there's a face, always a face behind the image. So here's the eye and the face here. Infinite heart. Hope you enjoy. And like I said, in the next 3 or 4 posts will be as what I've done, duplicated and attached them together, so you'll see the perfectly formed faces. Until the next time, see you soon.